Welcome back, Full Heel Podcast. I'm your host, Rafael Chairez, wrestling's #1 wrestling observer. Thanks a lot for joining me. For today's episode, I will be going over Raw for Monday, October 7th. Pretty entertaining Raw with not a lot of major players. Just a continuation of some storylines from Hell in a Cell, which is what I like. They're not abandoning storylines like they usually would before. This new creative seems to be sticking with storylines, even if they weren't that popular. They're seeing them out all the way, which is pretty cool. Something I kind of always complained about. Again, SmackDown with the commercials or Raw with the commercials don't stop with that. But what can you do? Shout outs to the Rewrites for letting me play their music. They're my buddies. They're doing a show October 2nd. Not exactly sure where. But please go ahead and check out the Rewrites on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, all that stuff. But yeah, last podcast I did was a Fight Companion, but before that was the AEW debut show. If you guys haven't checked that out, please go ahead and check that out. I am excited for the second showing of Dynamite, which is this Wednesday. So I'm kind of excited for that. Like I said, Raw put on a good show. I will be breaking down a little bit about NXT and SmackDown and Hell in a Cell because I missed out on breaking those down because I'm not gonna lie, pretty tired working overtime. So I'm gonna try to get as much content out as I can. So I will be breaking down Raws because I can catch up on myself, and I will be breaking down AEWs. Yeah. So let's get into it. Raw started off today with I don't know what they're doing with Rusev. Seems like they're turning him kind of cuckish. And by that I mean, well, if you guys are watching, his wife is sleeping with Lashley. Last week at the end of the show, they revealed that she was with Lashley. She came out, started making out with him. That kind of preluded to the show earlier by asking Rusev how his family life was and how Lana was, and he said he wanted to keep his personal life personal. And she came out later and started making out with Lashley. This week the show opens up. We're supposed to get a match between Randy Orton and Rusev. Rusev being Team Hogan, Randy Orton being Team Flair, which were the teams established last week by Seth Rollins and Randy Orton. Or, yeah, it was Randy Orton. I wanted to say Baron Corbin, but Baron Corbin joined right away. So right away we have Orton and Corbin come out, but it goes to the Titantron and there's a promo cut. Not a promo, it's more of a vignette, I guess. We have Lashley addressing Rusev, saying him that he looks a little tense, but that he himself is very comfortable, and if that he can see him, look at him, he's in the robe. And then as the camera pans out, you can see that he's in a bedroom, and he's like, "Look, I'm in a bedroom. Does it look familiar?" And then he reveals that he's in Rusev's bedroom, and Rusev isn't saying anything. He doesn't have a mic. Lana comes out, joins Lashley in bed, and says that she's kind of switched all the joint accounts into her name, and everything that Rusev owns is hers. And she gets all close and snuggly to to Lashley, and that's the storyline going forward. They try to attack, or they try to double team, not Lana, but they try to double team Rusev, but Rusev in his anger is able to fend off Orton and Corbin. They go to commercial. After this, we have Natalya versus Lacey Evans. And this is what I meant by them continuing storylines. This storyline, I don't know how popular it's been with people. It really hasn't been a major storyline. It's been more on the... not even download. It's just been like on the mid-card kind of thing. And they've been going at it over and over again. I think they're both 2-2. And it cultivated to an Iron Man match. Yeah, so they have an Iron Man match, and an Iron Man match pretty much is whoever can keep their opponent down for the 10 count without them interfering, stop. They got to stop hitting them and let the ref count to 10 without their opponent being able to get up, and that's how they win. No disqualifications, no submissions, none of that. And it was a really good match, except for the fact that I did not like Natalya selling. She would get knocked down, she would get knocked out, and kind of be on the floor for the 10 count, but not move till 8, and then kind of spring up to her feet. And she didn't do it just one time. This was like a multiple time kind of thing, and it kind of just pretty much horrible selling on her part. She should have little by little try to recover, or made it seem like she's recovering, and be like on one knee by the time she's at 7, maybe 2 knees. Then eventually get up by 8.5. Not all the time she was up by 9. I want to say like 10 times, 12 times she had the opportunity to get up. 12 different times, and each time it was the same kind of thing. She would get up at the very last second. And that was the only thing that really kind of threw me off in the match. It would have made it a lot better if she did not sell like that. She even had Lacey Evans in the sharpshooter at one point. Didn't let go because it didn't matter. There's no submissions. There's no rope breaks. Just trying to wear her down. And they had a lot of action with outside stuff. They didn't hesitate right away to go outside and start using the barricade. Start throwing each other off into it. And even the ending was pretty good. I don't think they used too much chairs, if I remember right. They used a barricade a lot between the both of them. Like I said, they went out right away to the outside and started using the outside of the ring right away. Natalya took a pretty nasty spot hitting the ring post. It looked pretty real. She sold that pretty well. But like I said, the getup was not sold that well to me. Each time and time again. I can understand a couple of them. But it seemed to be multiple times over and over again that the selling wasn't there for me. Let's see. And then like I mentioned, the finish was pretty awesome. Lacey Evans tried to suplex, she was going to suplex her off of the stage. She was going to suplex Natalya off of the stage because they eventually made it up their way up the ramp. Natalya reversed it and was able to power bomb Lacey Evans off of the stage. Pretty awesome power bomb. Lacey couldn't get up. Perfect selling, perfect spot, perfect way to end the match. this is probably how they're going to end the rivalry. I think this was the 5th match out of the rivalry. And Natalya takes it 3-2. Ending the rivalry with an awesome powerbomb. Yeah. Like I said, pretty good match except the selling on Natalya's part. And they're getting up. Let's see. After this, we go to Aleister Black promo. Wanting to pick a fight and wanting a fight with anybody. He's done this before. He got Cesaro and beat Cesaro pretty decisively. Let's see. They keep on hinting at a Tyson Fury promo, demanding that he wants Braun Strowman to apologize for what he did. If you guys don't or didn't watch, I think it was on SmackDown. Yeah, he was on SmackDown, and Tyson Fury threw someone into him, and they kind of posed off before this. And then at the end of the match, Tyson Fury jumped the barricade, setting up the... Oh, was this on Hell in a Cell? Either way, I think it was a Hell in a Cell. Either way, he was in the crowd. He got someone thrown into him and then tried to jump the barricade, and he got taken away. And that set up today's interaction between the both of them, but that won't be later on. They tease it the whole night, though. Keep bringing it up. It's going to come up. It doesn't come until the end of the night. Ivar and Eric, the Viking Raiders, take on Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode in a tag team match. But the titles aren't on the line. They're just facing them. Let's see. Yeah, they're just facing them in a regular match. Well, no, just a regular tag team match. Ivar and Eric start off pretty good, taking the momentum, but then eventually they being Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode, are able to isolate Eric, and they're able to tag in and out, and able to keep him in the corner. Eventually, Eric is able to tag in Ivar. He gets the hot tag. I don't think they do their double team move. I forget what move he does to get the 3 count. The point is, this is advancing their storyline. Ivar and Eric, the Viking Raiders, pick up a non-title victory versus the champions, Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode. Don't be surprised if the titles switch hands in the not so near future. So, look out for that. Yeah. Aleister Black heads out to the ring, takes on the Singh brothers. Pretty much a squash 2-on-1 match, not really a match. He fucks up one of them, the other one has to have a match, and then he locks a submission in. He taps out and he kind of just holds him there. Nothing really in that match. Braun cuts a promo, kind of pretty much talking about how he was just out there playing around, but if that Tyson Fury wants to get these hands, he can get these hands. Rey Mysterio cuts a promo stating that Cain Velasquez is Dominic's godfather, so Cain offered his services in order to help Rey Mysterio because of what happened to Dominic. The OC comes out, and we're going to have a match versus the Lucha Party. They go to commercial. They come back from commercial. And before they get to the match, we have a promo from AOP, the Authors of Pain. If you guys don't know who the Authors of Pain are, they are a very dominant tag team that came up from NXT. They did have a stint on Raw. They have been on Raw a little bit, but they weren't really utilized well. Once new creative came in, they seemed to throw them off of TV, and I don't know if they've been doing just house shows or what they've been doing, but they're being repackaged, and they've been cutting vignettes on what a dominant tag team they are and how they're going to come in and show everyone what Pain is, and pretty much they're going to take what is theirs. They're going to take the food off of these guys' plates. A bunch of threats. It's just... I hope they use them right. That's about it. That's all I got on that vignette. We'll see. We'll see what happens there. Let's see. After that, we had the OC versus Lucha Party, which is a pretty quick but fun match. It was a good match too, for it being fast. But we had the OC dominating, but Lucha Party getting their offense in using high flying moves. At one point, we had all of them toss out the OC. The OC was on kind of all corners of the on one of the sides of the ring. All of the Lucha Party got on the same post and jumped out on all different corners, and it was pretty awesome. Gran Metalik was able to get a lot of offense on not double teaming, but they were trying to double team him, so he would get offensive moves like that. Really good offense. If you guys don't know who Gran Metalik is, go ahead and check him out. Super badass, high flying dude. Mexican fat dad bod though. Doesn't look like he can do it, but that fat bod doesn't stop him. He do whatever he wants. Talk about fat bods a little bit later. From the SmackDown debut. All right. Lince gets the Styles Clash from the second row, but it was after they get the loss. Yeah. They beat up Lucha Party, eventually gets beat, and then they start fucking them up after the match, and they get Lince in the Styles Clash from the second rope. For no reason. You know, doing the heel shit. Then we get Miz TV with Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair, because Charlotte Flair is the new champion. Setting up a match between Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair versus the Kabuki Warriors. Showcasing the titles, kind of a thing. I don't know. They had a good match with Flair beating up Asuka, but it was a good match for Flair and Becky if you want to showcase your heavyweight champions, but your new tag team champions, your Kabuki Warriors, you want to book them strong, especially them just being heel out of nowhere. They look kind of weak here. Flair was dominating Asuka in the beginning. Sane really didn't get to do too much. Sane even got put in the disarmor, but we get the green mist from Asuka, and we get the victory for them. I know I said it wasn't a great way to showcase them because they were getting beat for most of the match, and I know they did get the victory, and they are heels, and they did get it by the green mist. Asuka doing the green mist, which she did it on Hell in a Cell to get the victory off of Nikki Cross. Becky's blind after the loss. They team up on Charlotte because Charlotte attacked them for doing the green mist on Becky. But then it's a 2-on-1 situation, and Flair's outmatched. But then Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss come down to help out. We kind of have a brawl situation going on. Let's see. Yeah. After this, we have Ricochet and Apollo Crews in a very quick match. Quick and fast. Not only were they super quick in the match, super flippy, super high flying. It was a fast match. Just kind of them saying that they were showcasing each other because they're teasing the brand split. The brand split's coming soon. And that's what they were kind of like, hey, this could be our last match on Raw, or it could be both of our last matches on Raw. There's Asuka with the green mist in the title. Let's see. Ricochet gets the W. Damn, was that it? Did I skip anything? No, that was it. Cool. Alright. So then that would lead us to our last segment, which would be the Tyson Fury segment demanding his apology. Tyson Fury comes out, demands his apology. Braun Strowman comes out and kind of just says whatever. They start going at each other. Tyson Fury says how many world heavyweight titles has Braun had. Braun and him start going at it. Security starts holding them back. Eventually, they attack security, and then talent has to come out and separate them. They're going at it back and forth, and it's kind of reminiscent of the Mike Tyson, Stone Cold Steve Austin. Just nowhere near on that level, just because of the popularity Stone Cold had, and Shawn Michaels was in the mix as well, and Mike Tyson was in the mix. Right now, the one that really reaches that kind of level, and not really, is Tyson Fury, just because he's the lineal world heavyweight champion. He never really lost. He retired. Came back. And I don't know where they're going with this. I guess it's a crown jewel angle they're gonna pull or something, where it's gonna be Braun and Tyson Fury. But yeah, no one is on that level that Stone Cold. It's kind of reminding me of that because of the heavyweight champion, and then you have Braun, the wrestler. You know, put two and two together, whatever. Maybe it's nothing like that, and I'm just high. But ending Raw with this segment was pretty cool. Really kept me entertained throughout the whole time. I think they spaced out their entertaining segments throughout the night really well. Usually I tune out or like I get really bored throughout the night. I'm glad they kept Seth and the Fiend off of the show. I'll get into it right now. Yeah, so that was Raw. I didn't break down Hell in a Cell because I fell asleep. Hell in a Cell started off with Becky Lynch and Sasha Banks. Incredible match. You can always ask for more in a Hell in a Cell just because of the bar that has been set. But they did a lot of cool stuff. A lot of unique stuff. And they didn't have to... Well, it started off on the outside. So before it even started, Sasha hit Becky and they rolled out to the outside. Eventually, on the inside, Becky grabs a chain before they lock it. And yeah, that's how it started. They had a pretty awesome match. How did it end? Sasha had a lot of those badass knee strikes where she jumps and knees him in the head. I know she did that. She did one on a ladder. She did one on a chair. Okay, so it was what I thought it was. It was a Bexploder off the top ropes onto a bed of chairs. Then she did a disarmer right after that. There's a bunch of chairs in the middle of the ring. She did the Bexploder, which is a exploder suplex, and then after that she got the arm bar in, or the disarmer. Victory for Becky Lynch. After this was Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns versus Eric Rowan and Luke Harper. I still keep hearing rumors that Luke Harper's going to leave. They did take the L. Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan pick up the victory. The spots I remember are like Harper suicide diving. I took a lot of notes on this match. It was a good match. It was nothing to wow over. It was kind of more average than anything. More average, like good Daniel Bryan, good Roman Reigns match, and Eric Rowan are badass workers. Like I said, you have Harper suicide diving. You have a good spot where Daniel Bryan hurricanranas himself. Not himself. He hurricanranas Harper to off of the tables to get himself out of danger because they were trying to put him through it, allowing Roman clear view to Rowan and to spear him through the tables. This was all on the tables on the outside. It was a pretty good sequence ending it, showing that they could put on a good tag team sequence of moves. It was a Superman punch by Roman, running knee strike by Daniel Bryan, to a spear by Roman Reigns to the cover, giving them to the victory. Sorry, guys. I don't know why I got mucus. They tease them not wanting to shake hands, but eventually they hug, and that's how they end that. I don't know where they're going with this after that. Randy Orton versus Mustafa Ali. Randy Orton starts it off slow with wrist locks, eye poking Ali. Ali trying to get his high flying shit going. Ali gets slammed on the table a bunch of times. They tease the loss on the outside by the count of 10, but Ali gets in by 9. Off of the slam, I guess I mentioned the table slams because you could see welts on this guy's ribs at one point, on Ali's ribs, from the table slams. Announce table. They both got some pretty good moves in. Orton with his patented scoop slam or his power slam that he does off the ropes. Super fast, super powerful. Ali landed a badass tornado DDT. Ali reversed the RKO by doing a handstand on the come down. I don't know. Crowd kind of liked it. Ali has this thing where he's on the outside apron and he rolls in from in between the ropes and then rolls and then does a move of sorts. He got caught in a beautiful RKO doing that rolling. That was into that. After this, we had Bliss and Alexa Cross versus the Kabuki Warriors. Not gonna lie, I couldn't really pay too much attention to this match. The only thing I did see was the Kabuki Warriors were heel out of nowhere. Yeah. Not too much on this match I took. Asuka working the ankle lock. They're working on Bliss for a while, keeping Cross on the outside. Eventually, Cross gets the hot tag. She avoids the Kairi Sane's elbow. And then eventually, Asuka hits the green mist, and that's how we get the victory for the Kabuki Warriors, taking the belts off of Bliss and Cross. They're demanding a rematch because of the finish of the Blue Mist. The OC also took on the Viking Raiders with Strowman, so it was a 3-on-3 match. Yeah, I think this is where the Tyson Fury thing happened, is it? Let's see. No, this wasn't it. Ivar and Anderson started out. Ivar cleans house. Yeah, he cleans house pretty well. Pretty fast. Strowman gets the tag. He cleans house as well. This was kind of a squash match for the Raiders and Strowman. Strowman does his around the world thing where he runs all around and fucks everyone up on the outside. Let's see. The OC loses by DQ because they're beating the shit out of Braun Strowman. And they're not tagging in and out, so the ref calls for the match. Braun Strowman knocks the shit out of AJ with a right hand, and they're kind of selling the fact that AJ couldn't get... He was like out of his wits the whole time trying to get out of there, and even in the backstage a little bit. Trying to sell the fact that Braun Strowman can punch. I don't know. They're trying to set up the Tyson Fury thing is what they're doing, if you guys are wondering. Let's see. Tamina wins the 24 championship ever in the back. Probably the worst 24 champion of all time, in my opinion. You guys have heard my opinions on Tamina. She's horrible. I've given her time. I thought she was green. She sucks. She's one of the worst wrestlers I've ever seen in my life. If you guys don't agree with me, I don't care. She's fucking horrible. I've given her a chance, and it just hasn't worked out. I'm done giving her a chance. Daughter of Snuka. Daughter of Superfly Snuka, brother. Hey, yo, brother. just never fucking. I don't know if she doesn't work on it or what's going on, but just never worked. We had Corbin versus Chad Gable because they have a kind of a rivalry going. Corbin beat Gable in the finals of the King of the Ring. He even named him Shorty Gable, or yeah, something like that. Gable gets the pin. It was a good match, man. It for the story it told. Gable gets the pin on Corbin. They're putting Gable over because he's the short dude that lost the King of the Ring, and he's getting made fun of, but he's an actually good wrestler because he was an actual All-American or whatever he was. Bayley versus Charlotte Flair. Charlotte Flair right away takes over. She doesn't let Bayley build momentum. For Bayley to get any kind of momentum, she has to pull Charlotte out and start using heel tactics. Works her on the outside, using the post and focusing on Charlotte's leg. Eventually, Charlotte hits the natural selection, but Bayley slips out, or she grabs the ropes to avoid the pin, or to stop the 3 count. Bayley gets caught using the ropes to try to get the pin, or try to stop the pin. You know, a lot of heel shit used by Bayley in her newly heel role. Bayley comes out losing. She drops the title to Flair. Flair wins it for the 10th time. Yeah. It sucks because they don't know what to do with Bayley. They put the title on her, and it really didn't go anywhere. And as you can see, it's back on Charlotte. So. Yeah, that was that. That was that for Hell in a Cell. As far as AEW versus NXT, if you guys want to hear my thoughts on the AEW show, it's out there. I never did a show on NXT. NXT put on a takeover style match in the beginning. They opened it up with that was a takeover style match. The King of Bros versus Adam Cole. The return of Finn Balor. Undisputed Era kept their titles. I think they defended them, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Roderick Strong came out and stopped them. Mia Yim lost to Io Shirai. Forgot who Candice LeRae fought. I have it over here. Tommaso Ciampa returned. Yeah. Let's see. Pete Dunne versus Danny Burch was a badass match. So my thoughts on the first initial ratings and views on the first week. AEW Dynamite had 1.4 million views, and NXT had close to 900,000. So as far as views turned out, I would say, well, no, clearly AEW won. As far as the better show, the better match was definitely on NXT between the King of Bros, Matt Riddle, and NXT champion Adam Cole, baby. And then the tag team match at the end of the night was really awesome too. Finn returning to NXT really doesn't whatever for me. I wasn't too crazy about that. Ciampa returning was awesome. So maybe the better show would have been, it might have been NXT. Not by a crazy amount, but probably the better show. Gargano had a badass match. Candice LeRae took on Baszler. Is this the right? Yep. Shirai, Mia Yim. Yeah, dude. No, they had a badass match. Matt Riddle and Adam Cole. Velveteen Dream wants his title back. He's challenging Roderick Strong. And then there was SmackDown. There was SmackDown on Friday, the debut on Fox. I had work the next day at 5, so I fell asleep setting up and taking notes because I finished watching NXT that night. I'm going to try to get on it a lot faster so I can get a lot more content out. SmackDown. Becky Lynch was on SmackDown. Raw Women's Champion. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, she had a badass segment with The Rock. She was able to hang on the mic with The Rock and able to talk shit to Corbin, saying that she had bigger balls than him. It was pretty awesome. Just goes to show you she can hang with The Rock, which not a lot of people can do. She had a huge crowd pop. She even got to do It Doesn't Matter What You Think. They named Corbin STD. You know, they just had their fun out there. It was pretty awesome to see her with The Rock, interacting with The Rock. Flair and Lynch took on the Boss and Bayley that night. Let's see. The ladder match between Shane and Kevin Owens was pretty fucking awesome. We didn't see Kevin Owens or Shane at the show. Rightfully so. These guys, like I said, badass match for Raw. Or, sorry, the opening show of SmackDown. They started using the ladder right away. Let's see. Shane got the elbow drop through the announce table. After commercial break, Kevin Owens frog splashes through a ladder on the outside, positioned on the ring and on the outside. That was fucking awesome. Let's see. Shane hits a coast to coast on Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens powerbombs Shane off the ladder onto another ladder. And Kevin Owens is able to get the briefcase. Kevin Owens is able to fire Shane McMahon on the first episode of SmackDown. So go ahead and check that out if you guys missed it. Somehow, I don't know how you guys would check that out, actually. And he hits the stunner on Shane. 8-man tag team match. Braun Strowman, Heavy Machinery, and The Miz versus AJ Dolph and Rude and Dolph. No, sorry. Who is it? AJ Dolph plus Rude. Orton. Yeah, it's AJ Dolph, Rude, and Orton. This is the match where Fury gets taken out, so it was SmackDown. I don't even know how that match ended at 8-man. Lumberjack match between Rowan and Roman. That match kind of really sucked. Harper comes in. They just beat the shit out of the Lumberjacks at one point, both of them. They were able to do whatever they wanted. So what's the point of even having a Lumberjack match if they're gonna do that? Kofi got squashed in 8 seconds, which was kind of ridiculous. But then this is what it was for. Kofi got squashed to bring out Cain Velasquez to scare Brock Lesnar. Yeah, you heard it here. It's kind of weird because Kane's such a green wrestler, even if he's done those matches in AAA or whatever. It's very weird to have him come out like this. It's probably something for Crown Jewel, and if it's something for Crown Jewel, then it's this extravaganza, spectacular. Cain Velasquez coming out of the UFC to face Brock Lesnar, but he's coming out of the USADA pool as well. He's no longer in the testing, and he's removed from the UFC ranking. So is he going to do this all the time now? I don't know. So we'll see. We'll see what this is leading up to. And he's defending Ray's honor. That's all I really know on that. But he beat up Brock Lesnar. And yeah, that was an interesting way to end SmackDown, first ever on Fox Network TV. Really catches my attention, me being a WWF or WWE and mixed martial arts fan. It kind of really mixes both worlds right now. And then one last thing. Yesterday's Hell in a Cell match. I think I skipped this match. Yeah, I did. Yesterday's match between Seth and The Fiend. The finish really fucks up the whole match. And it really puts a dark shadow over the pay-per-view. They had a lot of good matches. These guys were putting on quite a match, but the Fiend's no selling really takes you out of it. The times he did sell, and when Seth was able to get some offense in, was good, but the Fiend was pretty much no selling everything. And he took 19,000 curb stomps, and none of them affected him. He took a pedigree. Seth pretty much fucked him up with a ladder and a chair and a toolbox on top of him, and then he hit him with a sledgehammer on top, with all that on top of him. And the ref rang the bell. They lifted the cage, and they were about to get Bray out of there on the stretcher, and he hits the mandible claw on Seth, tosses Seth to the top of the Titantron, and up there on the top of the Titantron, he gets the mandible claw again. Seth starts bleeding and coughing blood. All this time, the crowd is booing, yelling, AEW refund, this is awful, or something. I don't know. They were just not into it. They clearly made their voices heard. And like I said, that really puts a dark shadow on that. I'm glad we did not see both of them today on Raw. Give it some time. They really fucked up. They fucked up bad. They have such a good thing going with The Fiend, and for them to fuck it up like this at a pay-per-view. Yeah. And it's easy for me to talk shit, but the way to do this is you had Seth coming into this match super terrified and not knowing how to beat The Fiend. The way to do it is if you were going to make him take all... Seth should not have hit any of his finishers. Maybe one curb stomp where The Fiend doesn't sell it, but then we have Seth attacking him with the chair and weapons, and just he keeps on attacking him, and this guy gets up. And then Seth just takes off with his Universal title and gets disqualified and takes it just so he doesn't have to keep going because he's terrified of The Fiend, especially at a Hell in a Cell. He, like I said, he went in scared. You can do the no selling with the weapons, but leave the finisher kind of sacred. They didn't do that. Like I said, Seth hit the curb stop 19,000 times, the pedigree, the frog splash, and you can never get anything past a 1 on The Fiend. And I get it. They're trying to make him strong, book him strong. But the finish was ass. And they can't give us this with AEW now. Check out my breakdown on AEW. That was the ending of Hell in a Cell. This is going to be the ending of this show. Go ahead and check out the rewrites. Please subscribe to this podcast. Stay tuned for Wednesday. I will be doing a breakdown for AEW on Wednesday. And I will try to keep up to date more and more with these. It's kind of hard. Like I said, I have work the next day. But if you guys subscribe to the podcast, maybe I can get sponsors. I can get a following, get some sponsors, get paid for this, and I can do them and get paid to do them. that would be the shit. That would be fucking awesome. If not, I'll get out what I can get out, and I will try to do the breakdowns. But thanks a lot for joining me. Stay tuned for Wednesday. I'm breaking down the second episode of Dynamite for AEW. And, yeah. I'll see you guys next time on the Full Heel Podcast.
Appetite's grown insatiable.
Dig it!